Good evening, folks. Welcome to another whiskey review with me, Marty McCauley. Hope you're all well. But everything's going chippy and chirpy and chipper, and I don't know, everything's going well for you. Hope it is. We're doing another black bottle, and we have done the ordinary black bottle. I don't like saying ordinary. The normal black bottle, and we did the Island Storm. Island Storm, yeah. The one from Isla. This is another one in the Alchemy range. This is batch number 1 of the double cask. Now, I have to just say this, because before I even start doing the review, before we get to a point where I'm critiquing this whiskey and so on and so forth, people will go past this because it's a blend, because it's £25 a bottle, and they'll say straight away, "Oh, well, that can't be good," because we've got into this habit in whiskey where we're doing everything as premium and super premium and ultra premium. People have to spend lots of money. You don't. I'll just put that out there. You don't really have to spend huge amounts of money to get something of reasonable quality. And I say reasonable quality, I mean flavour and taste. Now, this has quite a bit of colouring in it, but don't worry too much about it, because remember, this is £25 a bottle. This is 46.3%. I'm not sure whether this is chill filtered or not. You know, I have to consult the optical enhancers to read this. It's very fine text. Two exquisite liquids become one as malts finished in Spanish sherry barrels meet 12-year-old grain matured in red wine casks. Now, it doesn't mention an age for the malt. Probably because it's not that old, and they don't want to. Well, they don't really want to bring it down, I suppose. But 46.3%, £25 a bottle. Hang on, we're not used to this these days. We are much more attuned these days to having to spend 60, 70, 80 pounds for something, and before we can call it quality, before we can call it, oh, this is really tasty and flavoursome and well made, and oh, they're not trying to cheat us out of money. That kind of thing just it borders on snobbery. You don't need to be spending huge amounts of money to get things that are quite tasty. And this, I'll just tell you now, this is an example of this. But there's more to come on that. On the nose, deep berry fruits. You are talking blackberries. There's a citrusy. It's kind of telling you that there's a citrusy note, but there's not really. It's much more blackberries, and that kind of sharp note that comes off those, along with sort of blackcurrant, that kind of thing. And it's that kind of sharpness, not necessarily citrus. That's a nice nose. By anybody's stretch of the imagination, that's a nice nose. There is a little sour note there, which I quite like. That sourness is almost sherry vinegar-esque. That's kind of what it's like. There's just that slight sour note. And oak. So what are we talking here? We're talking fruit coming from the sherry. We're talking something that hasn't been over sherried and over sweetened and almost artificially sweetened. Lots of people don't know that what they mean by, oh, look at the color in that. You know, the color that's coming off the cask. Oh, it's a natural color. Basically, what that's telling you is that there's more sherry has come into your whiskey. So it's actually pulled sherry out of the cask. It's not that it's some mystical transformation. It's actually pulling sherry out of the cask. So It's a mix, if you want, a mix of your whiskey and sherry. This is a slightly different thing. That slightly savoury, vinegary note that's in that is telling me that it's pulled out the wine. The sherry's there, but it's pulling out that wine in the grain, and it's actually it's actually really quite pleasant. I know people probably don't think, oh, I want vinegar in my whiskey. No, you don't. But the fact that it's not being pumped with uh, sherry to sweeten it and make it like that, to me, is something different. That gives you a different element, a different complexity, and a different note to it. And it's all to be congratulated. Um, Moving on, we'll go for a little taste. We'll give a wee swirl. There's not really any legs on this. That is quite an interesting note, and it is nice. There's no two ways about it. I like that. I'll make a comment on the body of this. Um, the the texture and the weight of it. I've tasted whiskies an awful lot more expensive than this. Triple, 4 times the price of this, that don't really have the weight that this has. First thing I will say is, people will not say that this is very smooth. I don't think because it's smooth, because it's actually got a bit of fire to it. And if you're not used to drinking 46% alcohol, you'll go, wow, that's strong. It's got that chili effect to it, quite heat, um, spiciness coming through, kind of a little bit peppery, but there's loads of fruit there on the palate. Loads of fruit. Again, I know this. I know this is like teaching you how to suck eggs. This is a whiskey. It's not a sherry bomb. It's not massively influenced by way over the cask. It's got really strong whiskey elements. And I know telling people that a whiskey tastes like a whiskey, but some of them don't necessarily have. They've kind of get a little bit lost in their whiskiness, in their casking. The whiskiness kind of disappears a little bit. This is a whiskey, traditional whiskey. The whiskies that people used to drink back in the day, and this is bags of flavour. It really does have a real nice flavour to it. It's again, those fruit notes are coming across. Uh, Kind of nutty on the palate, maybe more so in the finish. Now I'm thinking about it, because it's maybe a little bit more in the finish that the nuts is coming in. But again, you're getting little bits of everything that's been composed in this, and that's not a bad thing, really, um, because you're getting the vanilla from bourbon way back in the day. Then that you're getting the I mean, it says that it's the grain elements fully matured in red wine, and that the malt is finished in sherry. So you're getting bourbon, sherry, red wine, all these different sort of elements. So there's the vanilla pops in a little bit. You're getting the nuttiness really from the sherry, the red wine bringing in nice, really decent fruit notes. There is a lot to like about that. There really is. I take my hats off to these guys to be able to produce something as tasty as this, uh, as well blended as this, with body, complexity, different casking, for the price point, is truly remarkable these days. I would recommend guys really buying this, and then go on and do the experiment. Jump onto Vimeo, Black Bottle Vimeo, plug in your earphones, do the experiment with this, because it is mind blowing. I promise you. Oh, I can't rate this highly enough. That's the truth. Uh, if it was given, I mean, again, I have to remember This is not in competition with ultra premium stuff, with things that are, you know, hundreds of pounds a bottle. That's not what it's in competition with. But I will say this: there's many, many, many whiskies out there, and I have here that I have opened and drank that are an awful lot more expensive than this, and they don't sit in the same class as this. That just isn't. Um, this I'll tell you now. If I'm being totally honest, I'm going to say this is 8.5 out of 10. 8.5 out of 10. And if you go and do the experiment and listen to Professor Spence's loop and the track that goes along with this, I promise you now, this is 10 out of 10. I genuinely think that. The guys who made this are masters of their craft, and I can't applaud them enough. This is a fantastic little bottle of whiskey, and people will walk past it because they'll see something else that someone else has said, "Oh, this is great," blah blah blah, 50 quid. They'll take it home and go, "Oh yeah, it's all right, it's okay." But they spent 50 quid on it, and they go, aye, that's all right, that's okay, yeah, it's nice, it's tasty. And then a couple of weeks later, they buy something else and not finish that bottle because it's not all that good. I guarantee you'll finish that bottle and you'll go back for more. I think that's lovely. Genuinely, if you do the experiment, it's 10 out of 10. It's fun, it's clever, it's involving. It really is something a bit special. We did tastings of this, Justin and I, on the Irish Whiskey Review. And Justin was just blown away. As was I promise you, if you go back in the archives and find it, we are wetting ourselves laughing at these things. It's just bizarre. I loved it. I genuinely did. It appeals to me in loads of different ways. This whiskey is superb. Get a bottle of it. I promise you'll not be disappointed. If you do get a bottle, do the experiment. Come back and put a comment in the comments section. As I say, 8.5 out of 10 as it stands. Do the experiment, and it's 10 out of 10. So, Black Bottle Double Cask in the Alchemy Series. This is superb. Okay? Over and out. Go and enjoy yourself, and I will catch you again at some point, possibly live at 10 o'clock on a Saturday night with the Irish Whiskey Review with me, Marty McCauley, and my mate Justin. So don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you again soon. Take care.